All right, so this is I want to say question 17. Uh, it's another one of those one class questions, so we're probably not going to run into, I guess, like a situation where we can instantly tell that it's D. Right? So what we're going to have to do is just run through the code and see if it throws an error, and if it doesn't, then what is the output, right? So we're going to start at main like we always do, and we're gonna start at this first line here. Right, what do we have? We just have like a sort of like an array pointer that isn't really doing anything. It's not pointing to anything because we didn't really assign it to anything yet. Of course, in the next line, we do end up assigning it to a string array of size 3. So that kind of looks like this: 0, 1, 2, right? And these guys are obviously like, pointing to nothing because we haven't really told them to point to anything yet, right? We have a variable called index. It's equal to 4. A little concerning because when we have a variable called index and it's over the I guess like the size of the array, like it's greater than that, it's typically not a great thing. Thankfully though, in the next line, it's reset back down to 0. So right now we don't really have anything to worry about. Right, so index is equal to 0. Let's see what this for loop does. It goes from 0 to 3, and it looks like for every, I guess, index between 0 and 3, or I guess 0 inclusive but 3 exclusive, right? It's going to insert the string A. I guess it's going to have these guys point to A, right? But I typically just denote it as like the index 0 holds A, index 1 holds A, and etc. Right? But just to make sure that's what actually happens, let's kind of like go through it iteration by iteration, right? So index is equal to 0. That means that index is less than 3. So then we're allowed to go into the loop and do what it tells us, right? So array index 0 is equal to A. All right, cool. Then we do index plus plus, right? Going to be equal to 1. I have to go check the conditional now. 1 is in fact less than 3. So I'm allowed to do array of 1 is equal to A, right? And then I do index plus plus again. I know this seems kind of trivial, but it'll be important for this next line of code, right? So index is equal to 2. 2 is less than 3. So I'm going to make index, or I guess array of 2 equal to A. And then I'm going to do index plus plus, right? And then I'm going to check to see if this conditional is still correct, right? I have 3 is less than 3. That actually doesn't make any sense, right? So in other words, it's a false statement. I have to break out of the loop now. Now, just because I broke out of the loop doesn't mean I have to go change index back to the previous value that worked for the loop. No, index is going to stay at 3. That's important, right? Because if you look at this next line, I'm accessing array of 3, right? That's really bad because I don't actually have array of 3, right? If I did, I'd make it X and call it a day, right? I print it out. I'd probably select this, but I don't, right? I don't have that extra box. So I'm trying to place X in pretty much illegal memory. Memory I don't currently have access to. And it's definitely not a part of this array. So you'd probably get a index out of bounds exception, something along those lines. What I'm trying to say is that the code is going to crash, right? So it's not going to be any of these. You're going to have to end up circling D, right? Because this right here would probably crash your code or throw an exception of some sort. So what we do is we would circle D and we can go ahead and check it, right? Use 17. Yeah. Yeah, D happened to be correct here. I will see you in the next video.